And welcome back to a new Taekook one shot. The soft tapping of shoes against the marble floor echoes through the carved grand halls of Jian Company. The usual hum of activity died down as every employee turned their attention to the man walking through the space like a storm. Jungkook, the company's young, energetic CEO, strode forward with purpose, his sharp gaze fixed ahead. Not a single glance was spared for the people bowing to him in respect. Behind him, his secretary, Yoon Hee, struggled to keep up, clenching his tablet filled with his schedule for the day. Jungkook entered the office and shut the door behind him. Without a word, he settled at his desk, powered on his computer, and drove into his work. At just 25 years old, Jungkook was a household name. He was celebrated for his brilliance and feared for his cold, detached demeanor. To the world, he was a man driven by money and ambition, a workaholic who had no time for frivolous things like love, but beneath the surface was a man shaped by loss, a boy who had learned early that love only brought pain. Jungkook's parents had died in a tragic accident when he was just 2 years old, leaving a void he never dared to fill. The evening as Jungkook stepped into the mansion, he was greeted by the familiar sight of his grandfather waiting for him. Chang Won's face broke into a wide smile at the moment Jungkook walked through the door. "Boy, you are late again. And don't think you can escape me this time," Changwon called out, stepping into the front of Jungkook's side. "Grandpa, not tonight. I'm exhausted." "That's exactly why we need a talk," Changwon insisted, grabbing his grandson by his arm. Jungkook yawned but he stopped to face him. "What's is it now? You need a family, Jungkook. You can't spend your life alone." "I'm fine the way I am." Changwon shook his head. "Fine. If you wouldn't get married, there is always surrogacy." Jungkook blinked. What Casey?" Changwon stared at him in disbelief. "Are you seriously talking me?" Jungkook rolled his eyes. "I know what it is, but how do you even expect me to do something like that?" "It's easy," Changwon replied with a mischievous glint in his eyes. "I have already found someone for you. You are meeting him tomorrow." The next day, Jungkook sat in the quiet cafe, watching the man his grandfather had chosen. Kim Taehyung was breathtaking. His soft feature, his kind eyes, and a small mole under his eyes drew Jungkook's attention in a way he didn't expect. Met his gaze, his voice steady. "Yes, where is the contract?" Jungkook hesitated. "You don't have to decide right now. I have already decided," Taehyung said softly. For Taehyung, this was more than just a decision, it was a sacrifice. Flashback. The hospital room was dim light, the sound of machines beeping softly in the background. Taehyung sat by his mother's bed, holding her frail hand in his. Her once vibrant face was pale, her breathing shallow as she rested. "Emma," Taehyung whispered, his voice trembling, "you are going to get better." I will find a way to pay for your treatment. His mother opened her eyes weakly, offering him a small smile. There, you have already done so much. You work so hard. Don't push yourself too much for me. Taehyung shook his head, tear pooling in his eyes. Don't say that. You took care of me all my life. You worked two jobs just to put food on the table and send me to school. Now it's my turn to take care of you. Her thumb bruised over the back of his hand, though her strength was fading. You are a good son, my Taehyung, but promise me don't lose yourself in trying to save me. Taehyung bit his lips, unable to respond. He leaned down and pressed his forehead against her hand, his heart heavy. That night, as Taehyung sat in the hospital waiting room, his hand in his head in his hands, a kind voice broke through his thoughts. You are Kim Taehyung, aren't you? Taehyung looked up to see the older man with a warm smile and a sharp suit standing before him. It was Jian Chengwan. Yes, I am Taehyung, he said cunningly, wiping his eyes. My name is Jian Chengwan, the man said, sitting beside him. I could help you, but choice. Notice how devoted you are to your mother. You remind me of my grandson in a way. Taehyung toddled his head, confused. What do you mean? I overheard the nurses talking about your mother's condition, Chengwan explained gently, and I know how expensive treatment can be. Taehyung's shoulders slumped. Is it? But I will figure it out. I have to. That's admirable, Chengwan said, nodding. But what if I told you I could help? Taehyung blinked. Help? Why would you do that for me? Let's just say I am in a unique position. Chengwan said, his tone shifted. My grandson needs someone to bear his child, and I believe you might be the perfect person for the job. Taehyung's eyes widened. You are asking me to be a surrogate? Yes, Chengwan said softly. In change, I will cover your mother's medical expenses entirely. You wouldn't have to worry about a single one. Taehyung stared at him, his mind racing. His mother's face flashed before his eyes, the way she smiled through the pain, the way she always put him first. What would happen after the baby is born? Taehyung asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Chengwan's expression softened. You wouldn't be responsible for the baby. My grandson would take care of everything. You will be free to go back to your life. Taehyung's hand trembled as he thought about the weight of that decision. Why me? Because I see your strength, and I see your love for your mother. You are kind of a person who would do anything for someone you care about. Taehyung swelled hard, tears slipping down his cheeks. Can I think about it? Of course, Chengwan said, standing up, but don't take too long. Time is precious for both your mother and my grandson. Taehyung watched as the man walked away, his heart heavy with the decision he knew he had to make. End of the flashback. Jungkook handed him the contract. Read it carefully. Taehyung's eyes scanned the words, his heart sinking at one clause. After giving birth, there will be no relationship between you and the child. He paused, his chest tightening but sighing in anyway. Here, Taehyung said, sliding the papers back. Jungkook watched him, unsure why a pang of guilt twisted in his chest. Time escaped Jungkook's office. Taehyung's hands rested protectively over his slightly rounded belly as he sat across Jungkook in Jungkook leaned back in his chair, observing the younger man. He wasn't sure why, but the thought of Taehyung being by himself during the time unsettled him. Taehyung, Jungkook began, his tone more gentle than usual. I think you should move into the mansion until the baby is born. Taehyung blinked in surprise. Move in? But I don't want to be a bother. You are not a bother, Jungkook replied, his voice firm. It's just practical. You will have everything you need. There are doctors on call, proper meals and care. It's safer for you and the baby. Agitated, biting his lip, he had been staying in a small, modest apartment, and while it was homey, it wasn't exactly the best place for someone pregnant. Are you sure? I don't want to intrude on your life. Jungkook's lips twitched into a finest of a smile. Taehyung, my grandfather would never forgive me if I let you stay anywhere else. Besides, it's not just about you, it's about the baby. Taehyung lowered his gaze, his fingers tracking small circles on his belly. Okay, I will move in. Time escaped. It was a little over 2 months into the pregnancy when Taehyung's morning sickness hit with full force. The sun had barely risen, casting a warm glow over the giant mansion, but Taehyung wasn't enjoying the serene morning. Instead, he was hunched over to the bathroom, clenching the edge of the sink as he fought a wave of emotion. Jungkook would Taehyung, he called out. There was a weak groan in response before Taehyung's voice came through, shaky and tired and fine. Just morning sickness. Jungkook frowned and pushed the door open slightly. Taehyung was leaning heavily against the sink, his face pale and dumb with sweat. You don't look fine, Jungkook said bluntly. Stepping inside, Taehyung gave him a tired smile. It's normal. I read about it. It will pass. Jungkook frowned deepened as he reached for a clean towel and ran it over under cool water. Here, he said, handing it to Taehyung. Wipe your face. Taehyung accepted the towel, his hand trembling slightly. Thanks, he murmured, pressing it to his forehead. Have you eaten anything? Jungkook asked, crossing his arms. No, Taehyung admitted. I couldn't keep anything down. Jungkook sighed. Wait here. Before Taehyung could protest, Jungkook disappeared and returned a few minutes later with a small tray. On it was a glass of water, some pen, and a bowl of sliced fruit. Try this, Jungkook said, setting the tray down on the bathroom counter. Are supposed to have with innocent. Taehyung looked at him, his jaw softened. You didn't have to do this. Jungkook shrugged, leaning against the counter. You are carrying my baby. It's the least I can do. Taehyung picked up nibbling on it hesitantly. To his relief, it seems to help. He smiled faintly. I think it's working. Jungkook nodded. Good. Eat slowly and let me know if you need anything else. Taehyung glanced at him, a faint hint of gratitude shining in his tired eyes. Thank you, Jungkook, really. Jungkook shifted uncomfortably under the weight of Taehyung's gaze. Don't mention it, he murmured, looking away for a moment. The two stood in the quiet bathroom as unspoken understanding formed in between them. Later that day, Taehyung found himself sitting in the mansion's sunlight garden, sipping on the ginger tea that Jungkook had insisted he try, chewing one stroll by and stopped. You are starting to care for him, aren't you? Changwon teased quietly. Jungkook scrawled, he is carrying my baby. Of course I care, Changwon clutched. Keep telling yourself that, boy. But I know love when I see it. Jungkook didn't respond, but his eyes lingered on Taehyung a little longer than necessary. Month passed and Taehyung's pregnancy brought changes. Jungkook wasn't prepared for Taehyung with his glowing skin and rounded belly become a constant presence in Jungkook's house. He wasn't just carrying Jungkook's child, he was slowly, knowingly breaking down the walls around Jungkook's heart. One night, Jungkook came home to find Taehyung struggling to stand, his sullen feet making it hard to move without a word. Jungkook knelt in front of him and lifted his feet into his lap. Jungkook, you don't have to, Taehyung started. Be quiet, Jungkook said gruffly, threw his hands urgently as they massaged Taehyung's aching feet. Taehyung's eyes softened. Thank you, he whispered. From the doorway, Changwon watched with a knowing smile. You are in love with him, he said later. Changwon clenches, don't deny it, boy. I can see it every time you look at him, Jungkook sighed. Even if I do, it doesn't matter. He is here because of a contract. And whose fault is that? Changwon asked, raising an eyebrow. Maybe it's time you told him how you feel. Taehyung too was struggling. He found himself falling for Jungkook, the man who stayed up late to make sure he was comfortable, who brought him his favorite foods without being asked, who, despite his cold exterior, cared for him in ways. Later one night, Taehyung sat alone in the room, his hand resting on his belly. I don't want to lose this, he whispered, tears slipping down his cheeks. I don't want to lose him. One evening, Taehyung came home from hospital after visiting his mother, who was all fine now, to find the mansion beautifully decorated. He walked into the living room where Jungkook stood. What's going on? Taehyung asked, looking around. Jungkook stepped forward, holding a ring. Taehyung, he said, his voice trembling slightly. Will you marry me? Taehyung's eyes filled with tears. Jungkook, what about the contract? I don't care about the contract, Jungkook said, taking Taehyung's hand. Do you love me? Taehyung nodded, unable to speak. Then be with me, not because of the baby, not because of the contract, but because I can't imagine my life without you. Taehyung let out a sob as Jungkook slipped the ring into his finger. Yes, he whispered, throwing his arm around Jungkook. The wedding was simple but beautiful, and soon after they welcomed their twins children into the world. Jungkook, Taehyung, and their little family thrilled with Changwon spoiling his grandchildren at every opportunity. The cold CEO has finally found the love and warmth he never thought he deserved, and he held onto it with all his heart. The end was this beautiful one shot. Hope you enjoyed it. Comment it down. What do you feel about it? I'll see you again in the next one shot. Till then, take care. Say bye bye. Bye. Love you.